Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tim and Tom's Film Nights. My name is Timothy, and I'm joined today by my eternally disagreeable co-host Thomas. Now, before we delve into our discussion about the film of the day, let's start with a warm welcome to all our new viewers, and even warmer hello to our loyal viewers who have stuck around for yet another installment of our lively discussions. Now, Thomas, today we are discussing the 2020 superhero film Bloodshot, based on the Valiant Comics character of the same name. I've prepared myself for a long and passionate debate about this one, haven't you?
Oh, you know it, Timothy, old chap. It's a bloody good film, if I do say so myself. Excuse me, no, seriously. I thought it was an excellent example of modern superhero cinema. Vin Diesel brings the character to life, and the storyline is engaging throughout. However, I know that you have some reservations.
Reservations? This film is a travesty, a disgrace to the genre. First off, Vin Diesel as a superhero, it's ridiculous. And the plot, it's just another generic revenge story we've seen 1,000 times before. There's no originality, no creativity. I mean, honestly...
Oh, do you now? Then perhaps you can explain to me how they managed to bring a character from the comics pages to life so convincingly? Or maybe you have some better suggestions for casting? I think Vin Diesel nailed the role of Ray Garrison. Don't you?
Fine. Let's talk about the effects and the action scene. I would give credit where credit is due. They did a decent job with the CGI, and the stunt work was passable. But that doesn't make up for the lack of depth in the characters or the cliched plot twists.
Ah, but you're missing the point entirely, my dear Timothy. It's not meant to be Shakespeare. It's a superhero movie, and it delivers exactly what people want. Action, adventure, and some mindless fun. Besides, what were your expectations? Citizen Kane with superpowers?
Grumble, I was merely expressing my concerns regarding the film's ability to...
Well, here's a question for you, old chap. Without spoiling anything, how do you feel about the ending?
Well, Thomas, I must admit that while the ending did pack a punch, pun intended, it felt somewhat rushed and unsatisfying. The build-up throughout the entire film was promising a climactic confrontation between Ray and his true nemesis. But instead, we got a rather predictable reveal, followed by an even more predictable confrontation and resolution. I'm not saying I had a better idea for how to wrap things up, but it just felt like a missed opportunity to really elevate the film's overall impact. But let's talk about something positive, if we can find any in this mess of a movie. What did you think about the performances? I thought Vin Diesel was passable as Ray Garrison, but I found myself more intrigued by the supporting cast, particularly played by Isa Gonzalez. She brought a much-needed dose of humanity and emotion to what otherwise could have been another forgettable side character.
Ah, now we're talking. Kate was one of my favorite characters in the film as well, Tim. She had a fantastic arc from being a meek and timid character to becoming a force to be reckoned with. And Isa Gonzalez did an excellent job portraying that transformation. As for the other performances, I thought they were decent enough, though I must admit, I didn't quite buy into the chemistry between Ray and Gina. Oh, wait, that wasn't Gina, was it? Sorry, my mind wandered momentarily. Anyway, moving on. I also enjoyed the action sequences in Bloodshot, especially the fight scenes choreographed by the legendary stuntman, stunt coordinator, and martial artist. David Belletti. The use of slow motion and close-ups added a visceral element to the already intense fights. Plus, who can resist a good old-fashioned car chase through the streets of Budapest? So overall, while Bloodshot may not be the best superhero movie ever made, it delivers on the basic requirements: action, adventure, and some mindless fun. And isn't that what we watch these types of films for anyway?
Well, I suppose there is one interesting tidbit of trivia I managed to dig up about the film's production. Do you know who initially was considered for the role of Ray Garrison before it finally went to Vin Diesel? The answer might surprise you. Tom Cruise.
Can you imagine? It's hard enough to picture Cruise in the role,
But, sigh, I shudder to think of how different the film would have turned out with him playing the lead. But let's move on before I start ranting about Hollywood's casting decisions again.
So, Tom, what do you think?
Do you have any interesting trivia to share regarding Bloodshot?
Well, Tim, as a fan of the comics, I must say that there are indeed some significant differences between the original storyline and the film adaptation. For starters, in the comic books, Ray Garrison was actually killed while serving in the Gulf War, rather than being kidnapped and tortured like in the movie. Additionally, his wife, who is referred to as Nancy in the comics, actually survives the events depicted in the film, whereas in the comic books, she tragically dies. Furthermore, Ray's partner in crime fighting, a wisecracking, cybernetic dog named Chihuahua Dupree also doesn't make an appearance in, the film. But hey, we can't expect the movie to faithfully follow every single detail of the comics, right? It's all about adapting the core elements while still adding some fresh twists and turns for the big screen. So, Tim, what do you think? Are you willing to give Bloodshot another chance now that we've discussed its origins and some of its more interesting trivia tidbits?
Well, Tom, I'll admit that some of these changes made for an interesting watch, especially regarding Ray's motivations and backstory. However, I still can't help but feel that the filmmakers missed a golden opportunity to really delve deeper into the core themes of loss, revenge, and redemption that are central to the comic books. Instead, we got a rather generic action-packed thriller with predictable plot twists and cliché tropes. And don't get me started on the love triangle between Ray, Gina, and Nick Boris. Sigh, it felt forced and unnecessary, taking away valuable screen time that could have been better spent developing the main antagonist and his motives. But hey, I'm just an old curmudgeon who's stuck in his ways, right? Maybe younger audiences will appreciate the fast-paced action and eye-candy visuals more than I do so, Thomas. Let's hear your take on it.
Do you think the film adaptation captured the essence of the comics well enough
For newcomers like myself to be enticed to delve into the source material? Or am I just being a stickler for details?
Well, Tim, as someone who has been a fan of the comics since they first debuted in 1993, I would say that while the film adaptation does indeed deviate significantly from the source material, it does manage to capture the essence of what makes Bloodshot so compelling. Vin Diesel, despite his age, is surprisingly believable as the gruff and determined soldier turned reluctant superhero. His portrayal of Ray Garrison's journey from a man driven by vengeance to one who gradually learns the value of redemption and second chances is compelling and emotional. As for the supporting cast, Isa Gonzalez brings a much-needed dose of vulnerability and strength as Gina, Ray's wife, although her character arc is somewhat limited in the film. She still manages to leave a lasting impression on the audience. Sam Heughan, playing the complex role of Dr. Emil Harding, is both charismatic and menacing, expertly portraying the duality of his character's intentions. Toby Kebbell also shines as the morally ambiguous villain, Martin Axe, adding layers of depth to a character who could have easily been reduced to mere evil in less capable hands. In conclusion, while Bloodshot may not be an exact adaptation of the comics, it still manages to captivate audiences with its action-packed sequences and compelling performances. The chemistry between Diesel and Gonzalez is palpable, and the film's themes of revenge, redemption, and the consequences of technological advancements will resonate long after the credits roll. So, Tim, do you think that newcomers to the Bloodshot universe would be enticed enough by this cinematic rendition to delve deeper into the source material?
Well, Thomas, I can certainly see how the themes and concepts explored in Bloodshot might pique the interest of those who enjoy action-packed thrillers with a touch of science fiction and superhero elements. However, as someone who has been immersed in the comic book universe for quite some time now, I must admit that the film adaptation does feel somewhat watered down compared to its source material. While there are certainly some interesting twists and turns along the way, I'm afraid that the filmmakers seem more focused on delivering a fast-paced, action-packed movie rather than delving deeper into the complexities of Ray Garrison's journey from vengeance to redemption. That being said, there are certainly some interesting films and TV series which share similar themes or concepts with Bloodshot that I think might be worth mentioning. One such example would be the Terminator franchise, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as a relentless cyborg assassin sent from the future to hunt down and eliminate a specific target. While the storylines and settings differ, both franchises explore themes of time travel, cybernetic enhancement, and the consequences of technological advancements gone awry. Another example would be the live-action adaptation of AM Watchmen, which explores the complexities of vigilantism and the moral gray area that often blurs the line between hero and villain. The film's protagonist, Rorschach, played by Jackie Earle Haley, shares some striking similarities with Ray Garrison in his unwavering dedication to justice, even at the cost of his own well-being. The character of Dr. Manhattan, played by Billy Crudup, also touches upon themes of power and its corrupting influence, which are prevalent throughout the Bloodshot comics. Lastly, I would be remiss not to mention the DC Comics universe's own take on the super soldier concept with characters like Captain America or The Flash, both of whom have had their share of adaptations across various mediums. While these characters might not directly correlate with Bloodshot, they do share some common threads regarding the consequences of technological advancements and the blurry line between heroism and villainy. So, Thomas, given the similarities I've just mentioned, do you think there are any other films or TV series that fans of Bloodshot might enjoy delving into? Perhaps something more along the lines of science fiction, action thrillers with a dash of moral complexity?
Well, Timothy, while we may not share the same level of enthusiasm for Bloodshot as a faithful adaptation of the comics, we can't deny that it does deliver on its primary objective, entertainment. The action sequences are well executed, and the performances by Vin Diesel and the supporting cast are commendable. I personally enjoyed the twisty plot twists and turns that kept me guessing until the end credits rolled. As for similar films or TV series that fans of Bloodshot might enjoy, I agree with your recommendations of Terminator, Watchmen, and DC's own superhero offerings. Additionally, I would also add the Netflix series Altered Carbon, based on the novel by the same name, which explores similar themes of technology, immortality, and the consequences of messing with nature's delicate balance. In conclusion, while Bloodshot might not be a perfect adaptation for die-hard fans of the comics, it does serve as an enjoyable action-packed thriller that will satisfy those who crave non-stop action and mind-bending plot twists. So I implore you, dear viewers, to leave your thoughts in the comments section below, subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this discussion, and please, don't forget to hit that like button to show us some love. Until next time, cheers, and may the nanites be with you.